We're on.
Here we are.
Good morning. Welcome to the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Susan Clark, here to do some music for you this morning. And I understand we might be welcoming a new member to the family. So I thought I would start out with, soon we might be. I'm going to start out with one called One Big Family. This was written by Gary Lynn Floyd and Robin Hackett. And if you feel like standing at any point when I'm singing and clapping or singing along, please do. It's pretty simple. All right. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Same thing again, here we go. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Woo! Thank you.
Welcome to the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. Welcome all you happy people here this morning and all the people online. And that tells me we have more people online today than we have ever had. So that is just wonderful. I am practitioner Marilyn O'Leary. We would not be able to bring this Sunday service to you without the loving service of many dedicated people who serve as our tech team, our greeters, our ushers, our welcomers, as well as our bookstore team. In addition, we have practitioners on high watch and offering the invocation and benediction, as well as our snack angels and our announcement angel. And our talk today will be delivered by Reverend Gil Olmsted, who is here by invitation as a candidate for the position of RGCSL Senior Minister, and we're very glad to have you here. Please join me this morning in reading. All right, we are glad to have you. Please join me in reading our vision and mission statements. Our vision, transforming our world with the power of love in action. And our mission, loving all creation through spiritual growth and service, always staying true to our highest self. And now let's prepare our hearts for the invocation by practitioner and Reverend Kamatara Johnson.
Let's just take a deep breath. There's a lot of energy in this room right now, which is fantastic to feel again. Welcome home in this very delicious moment of recognizing the expression of the divine in each person in this room and in each person online, because we are all connected in the one heart, one love, one mind, this infinite expression, the something sacred going on that's expressing in all of life as we know it and even beyond what we can understand. And so dropping into that place where I recognize the presence of that one living source. I know that we are in this sacred time together, that we at the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living are sharing this spiritual journey together, that we are the beloved of the beloved together. So I know that today's sacred time is precious and profound. And everything that needs to be said is said, and what needs to be heard is heard, and what needs to be felt is felt. And it's replenishing, restorative, exciting, and joyful, and everything that we need and want it to be. And I know that all aspects of this service are absolutely divinely guided and blessed, that everything flows easily and effortlessly to create this perfect container of consciousness and community. And so I give thanks for this bountiful time together, for the presence of Reverend Gill and his wife Robin, that we get to have this special time together to explore and to contemplate and to imagine our future together. Very grateful for everything that went into being able to have this time, this journey today together. So knowing that all is divinely guided and blessed and supported, I let it go and I let it be, knowing that all is well. And please say with me, and so it is. Amen.
For our reading today, we will read our sacred covenant that we have been reading every week. And the sacred covenant was developed during our co-creation process, and it's the covenant that calls into us our new senior minister. So please say this prayer with me. There is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to glorify God, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of God as unity. I further know that my new minister is a fulfillment of that which has been promised by God, for it is written, so powerful is the light of unity that it can illuminate the whole earth. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as unifying and growing our community. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself, for I am inspired to live in unity as an expression of wholeness and love. I am encouraging and supporting spiritual growth, awakening the wisdom within me. I am serving as a healer to all, applying the power of love, wisdom, and unity. I am generating engagement of the community in mystical studies and spiritual teachings. I am collaborating with community organizations, working in service of a world that works for everyone. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they will be revealed in a way that will glorify God and serve the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful God is gracious, so be it now. Amen. All right, and now let us turn our attention to Susan Clark for some special music this morning.
Thank you, Marilyn. I have a song for us by Stow Good. They're a duo that's out there in the world. If you'd like to hear some more of their music, they're all over the internet. Just look up Stow Good. And this song is called, excuse me, Step Away from the Seed. Step Away from the Seed. Ladies and gentlemen, and pets and animals, the story you're about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent. The scene of the crime, Friday at 5, the sirens were screaming, police cars arrived. She was holding a shovel, looking guilty as sin, caught in the act, about to dig in. The officer shouted, put your hands in the air. Would you mind explaining what you're doing there? This is looking suspicious. Are you covering your tracks? This better be good, ma'am. Just give me the facts. She said, I planted my dreams here, but fear they won't grow. If I dig them up, sir, then I surely know if they've taken root yet or all turned to weed. The officer shot back, ma'am. Step away from the seed. What? You've got to be kidding. I don't think you understand. These seeds are my windfall, my ace in the hole, my hope and my future, and I need some control. This is my major investment, my 401k. I'm protecting my stash, dude, get out of my way. It's my victory garden, but it's growing too slow. I can't stand all this waiting, I just got to know. The lawman repeated, he was clearly disarmed. We're all on your side, ma'am, and we mean you no harm. Whoa. It goes on. The story continues. Man was clearly disarmed. We're all on your side, ma'am, and we mean you no harm. But you got this all wrong, and you're gonna get hurt if you don't get your fingers out of the dirt. Cause I'm not a farmer, but I know too well. You mess with your seeds and your crop goes to hell. And all that manure, well, it just helps them to grow. You water, you weed them, and then let them go. So that's the whole story, it's true every part. The big magic happens alone in the dark. You dream it, you plan it, and then let it be. So do yourselves all a favor, y'all. Step away from the seed. Step, step, step away. Step, step, step away. Step, 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 step away. That magic will happen alone in the dark. Leave it alone, you've already done your part. Leave it up to the universe for them to grow. Step away, I said step away, I said step away from the sea. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. That was wonderful. Wonderful. Well, we are so happy to have Reverend Gil Olmsted with us this morning. Reverend Gil has been invited to spend the weekend with us as a candidate for the position of senior minister at RGCSL. Reverend Gil is currently the Youth and Family Minister and Education Coordinator for the East Bay Church of Religious Science in Oakland, California. He is the founding member and president of an association of New Thought spiritual centers in the Bay Area to support each other and their members' activities. For 7 years, Reverend Gill was the pastor of the New Spirit Methodist Church in Sutter, California. He received his Master's of Consciousness Studies from the Agape Spiritual Center and a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of California at Santa Barbara. He and his wife Robin worked together to bring their leadership and vision to numerous groups at different spiritual centers looking for support and wisdom. His volunteer work has included youth and teen camps, assisting homeless veterans, and creating and leading parenting classes. Reverend Gill says, "My mission is to be of service by building on the synergy of my gifts, education, and experience. I am able to uplift individuals and communities in their spiritual journey." And his topic today is Dark Night of the Soil. People kept trying to correct that, but it is Dark Night of the Soil. And a little thing that he says is the twists and turns of this journey can be a bit confusing unless we remember love leads the way. Please let's give a warm welcome to Reverend Gill Olmsted.
Thank you. Good morning. Okay, first of all, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge Susan for clearly reading my mind. She asked me before I came, she sent me a note and said, kind of tell me a little more. What are you doing? What do you want? And I said, I gave her a line or two, and I said, I just am going to trust you to bring it. And she did. So thank you. Thank you. Wow. Take a look around the room. I know there's a whole lot of people I can't see. I'm grateful that you're here. Thank you so much for being with us. And as we look around, you just see the beauty in the space. See the beauty in each face next to you or around you. It's amazing that we come together as strangers, and yet we find each other and we create community. And we create spaces where we can support one another and love one another and build our world into something that's different than perhaps what we've been told it could be or should be. So I'm grateful to be on that journey with you today. So Marilyn already alluded to the fact that some of you may have wanted to correct the U in soil, right? Interesting how anybody use spell check? Does it annoy you? After you send the send button on the text and you realize that you said something really that you did not mean to say, right? So that happens. And so sometimes we think, whoa, that must have been what happened. Well, it's not always the case. So very intentionally, we are talking today about the dark night of the soil. And so many of us know, and some of us may not be as familiar, with the concept that we teach in Science of Mind of the how creation occurs. That there is a seed placed in soil which creates a plant. And the seed being the mental equivalent, the seed being the conscious awareness of what is to be created. And the soil being the law which takes that and allows it to become what it is to become. Don't touch the soil. Leave it alone. Let it do its thing. And then comes forth the manifestation, which is that plant that we talk about. So that's kind of the basis of what I want to talk about today. So who in here can, or out there, as a matter of fact, who can think of some thing you were taught as a kid or you heard repeated in your house that you now know makes no sense? Yeah? Anybody want to share one or two of those? No? Would you like to share one? Children should be seen but not heard. Okay, okay. This gentleman was taught women are no good. That's powerful. Ah, we're all born in sin. Or the idea of original sin, that in fact all of us are unworthy to begin with. And how many of us have not had to work with that particular one? Yeah. So all of these things are simply beliefs and ideas that somebody had. And if we heard them enough, we might have adopted them for ourselves for at least a period of time. And that could create some issues, no? Anybody had to rethink some things in their lives because of things that they learned before? Yes? Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I'm going to tell you a little story. The other night, I was taking out some trash. I was going through my garage, and out and around the corner to where the trash cans are, where at one time we actually had a light, but it doesn't work anymore. So it's very dark when you get around the corner. As I came around the corner, my godson Robert jumped out. Boo! Heart sank. Woo! He scared me. And he was very proud of himself. God, Papa, I got you, didn't I? Well, here's the thing. I was thinking about that, and that is just an event, right? Having something happen is just an event. It's not the reality of anything. The reality is how we experience it. And so I thought about, what are the ways I could have experienced that? I could have experienced that and been very angry. I mean, why did I not know he was there? Why did he do that to me? Right? I could have been, very parental. Hey, you're not supposed to do that to adults, right? Don't mess with us. Or I could have laughed and just enjoyed the moment and been in it. And all those and a bunch of others are all possible. And the only difference is which one I chose. So, like I said, life is just a series of events, and the only thing that is different is how we experience them. And we experience them based on something that we have believed and decided is true. Excuse me, I am going to look at my notes. But why is it that that's the case? Why is it that it's just about how we experience it? Why is it that it's just about some belief that we have? Well, we go back to creation, to this idea of the seed in the soil. The soil doesn't care what you put in it. It only cares that it nurtures it and brings it to life. So if I keep placing anger in my soil, I'm going to get a good tree of anger. And believe me, when I say that, it's based on my own experience. I have had to readjust in my life. In fact, it's somewhat hereditary. I remember my dad telling me a story about my grandfather stomping out the spokes in his bike once because he was upset about something. So, these things come to us and through us, and we grab onto these things and we think, oh, that's how the world is. I am going to experience it this way. So our whole process then is to shift what we are planting in that soil. What are we expecting to experience? What are we wanting to experience? What are we hoping to experience? Now, sometimes we go through those times that feel very, very dark. And what if we were able to reframe that time that it is actually the universe nurturing and building us up and growing the seed of what's coming next? Take that in? Yeah. So back in 2003, I believe, 2001, my mother made her transition from Alzheimer's. And about 2002 or 3, my father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And he knew what was coming. And he was incredibly gracious because of that. He sat all of us down. He got out his book with all of his important papers, all of his powers of attorney, all of his things that we needed to have, and said, here it is. And then he said something really important. He said, now remember, I love you. It may not look like it, I may not act like it, but I love you. And he planted that seed for me to know that he loved me and he loved us no matter what. So fast forward 3 years or so, Robin and I move out of the house that we're living in North Hollywood, California. We move in with my father in order to support him. Darn it if the guy doesn't spend most of his time in his girlfriend's house now. So we spent time going to his girlfriend's house and having dinner and helping fix a couple things there where they needed to happen. And it was really wonderful for him and for both of them. But we spent this time in the house, and we were there and available. And at some point, my father reported to my brother and sister that we were taking advantage of him. We weren't really there for him, we were there for us. And they bit. And they said, we'll take care of Dad from now on. And my sister took my dad and moved him to Hawaii, where she lived. And they had sold the house, and all these things happened. But here's the thing. In the midst of that, we realized that we had the most incredible time with my dad, because we were able to be with him when he was laughing and still telling stories and having a good time, and with it all the way through. And my sister had jumped in and taken on in the most difficult time. And so we just had to be in gratitude for that aspect of it. So fast forward again, my father is in a care home, And we go there to visit just a few weeks before he dies. And we have a wonderful visit. And then Dad makes his transition. And as we all know, loss of a loved one is painful. It's hard. And I went to that dark place. I went to that place of being very sad that this had happened. You know, how would I go on knowing that I couldn't go see my dad at all? Nothing, you know, it wasn't available to me. And then I worked through that. And I let that go. And I allowed the expectation that I'd had that my father always loved me to be the seed that grew. And so I knew that he was always present with me. And one night, I'm driving through LA. I don't know why, and I wasn't with Robin for some reason. I'm driving through LA, and I'm having an ongoing conversation with my dad in the car. We're chatting away, and he's not there. And I realize, yes, here it is. Here it is. So out of that dark place, truly what was being nurtured was my ability to know that my father was present. My ability to be connected still, even in the midst of that. And that happens in many ways, at many times. And another thing is we can't plant a new seed if we keep looking back at the old seed and expecting that to be what we get. If we keep looking back at what's happened before and thinking that's what's coming next, then all we're doing is planting that seed, and yes, indeed, we get it again. So our job or our opportunity is to be open to what's coming next, to be open to the possibility, to look at what's coming. So as a community, as a congregation, one thing I've been struck by in the last couple of days is how much loss has happened in this community. How many people have lost loved ones? How much has touched people deeply and that they've had to work themselves through. And as a community as a whole, you lost that person, Reverend Martha, who was the anchor of this place from the beginning. And so that's an experience of something feeling like it's missing. And yet, the seeds that were planted, the seeds of her vision, the seeds of your vision, have been to see something grow. And that's the other part I've seen, is people excited about what's coming next. What's possible? Who could we be? How could we show up in this community in a new, different, vibrant way? How could we take this energy and watch it grow into something beautiful and new? Let go of that that's gone before. And that is your opportunity. That is your opportunity now to allow that to be. Rather than looking at what we've lost, rather than looking at what's limiting us, rather than looking at how things haven't gone the way we expected. That's the other part. I know you guys have been in this process forever, it seems. And I'm sure that can be frustrating. I've had experience recently with at least 2 other centers that are going through this process, and it's hard. It's hard for people. It's a rough time. And it's a time to step up and become all that you already are. And that is the opportunity. That's the opportunity of that dark night of the soil. And that is to allow it to nurture you into what you wish to become, what you see as possible. So, I think the last thing I want to say is this. There's not a limit to what the soil of spirit is able to grow. Its job is to grow whatever is planted. So, the issue is not what keeps showing up in our garden, but what we keep hiding in the soil. Right? So, as Robin said to me last night when I said that, do you have the courage to dig into that? Are we ready to dive into that? And so, on that note, I will invite you all to stay for the workshop later, which we will be offering you as a gift. If I were brave, you might just find out a little bit about that. So let us just take this understanding in for a moment. Let it land in our hearts. Wherever we are, whatever we're doing, let it land in us. That it's not about what's growing, it's about what seeds we're planting. So we just give thanks for this. We give thanks for the opportunity to step up, the opportunity to see each and every apparent dark space in our life as an incredible time of nurturing of what's coming next. That time when Spirit is holding us and warming us and giving growth to the great things that are coming forth. So I give thanks for this congregation, for this community, for all the ways in which people in this community serve and desire to serve, and for the love that they express. How loved anyone that walks in here feels. So in that space, I simply, with deep gratitude, release this word knowing that it is done. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Gelk. It was wonderful. Now it's time to share our abundance. There are multiple ways to give, scrolling across the screen right now. We also, don't know if it's there yet, but we also have baskets on the stage for those who are in-house to come. And these things, I don't know, I keep saying this, but I don't know how many of you have tried that number, texting that number. And that number is just wonderful. It just comes onto your text and it says, say give. And you say give, and it says how much do you want to give, and you write whatever you want to give. And immediately that happens. So it's a wonderful way to contribute as you sit here too. So it's great. So let's say this giving affirmations. As you know, whatever you have to give is essential to our ministries, and we are so grateful for everything you can share. So let's say this together. I am abundant, and I give from my abundance. I am prosperous, and I give from my prosperity. I am blessed, and I give from my blessings. My blessings of Spirit are as abundant as the stars, and so I give and receive generously, and so it is. And now for another song from Susan Clark.
Song for you by Daniel Nahmod. This is called Planting Seeds. I've been planting seeds on the ground, watering them with my sweat and tears. scattering them all around. Guess it's what I'm supposed to do with my years. Funny thing is, I may know what I've planted, but never what will grow. It always seems to be a perfect mystery. Whatever grows will grow. Whatever dies will die. Whatever works will work. Whatever flies will fly. Whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing more. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I still like to pretend that I know what the harvest will be, but I always find out in the end it was never really up to me. Funny thing is, when I just do my work and simply trust, it always seems that life is looking out for me. Whatever grows will grow. Whatever dies will die. Whatever works will work. Whatever flies will fly. Whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing more. Oh, yeah. I am only one of billions of seeds. When all is said and done, just do what's mine to do and let it be. Whatever grows will grow. Whatever dies will die. Whatever works will work. Whatever flies will fly. Whatever fails will fail. It's meant to soar will soar. 'Cause I am planting seeds. We are planting seeds. Nothing more.
Yeah, we are planting seeds. I love it. Please help me bless these offerings now. O divine giver of life, we gratefully accept these and all your gifts on behalf of our congregation and its ministry. We honor each gift and giver and declare that our abundance is increased 1,000-fold. And so it is. Thank you. So we're also always delighted to welcome visitors to our center. If you're here for the first time today, we invite you to see Carol Ann Armijo, which is usually back there. She's busy in the kitchen right now, but Carmela is standing back there. And come back, and Carmela has a gift for you and a flower for you. And if you're new online, we hope that you'll drop by the center. We would love to meet you. You can also sign up for our newsletter, which comes out every week and which can keep you up to date on the activities of the center. We also like to pray with you. Our licensed practitioners are ready to support you with a mini prayer treatment after the service. Those in purple stoles are around the congregation. Some might come sit up here, and you'll just see them here, and they are ready to say a mini treatment for you after. We also invite you to use the prayer request box on the back table. There are forms there, and there should be forms in the back of the chairs in front of you for a prayer request. And we take those, the practitioners take those prayers, and we pray over them every week. So please do write your prayer request then. I want to talk now about the special events that we have today as a part of Reverend Gill's weekend with us. Immediately after this service, so don't move, stay here. Don't go get the food because you can't have it yet. We're good. I know we're used to doing that, but we will have a wonderful potluck after this. But first of all, we're going to have a question and answer time with Reverend Gill. Those attending our service virtually will be able to join us via Zoom. Those of you who are right here can ask questions. Reverend Gill will answer them. And if you are on Zoom, the information is scrolling on your screen, so you can get that information on your screen. It's also in the newsletter. Then at the end of the question and answer period, please then join us in the social hall for potluck. And then you can come up and meet Reverend Gill personally and that crazy little thing he has on his lap. It's cute. And then at 1 o'clock, Reverend Gill will be giving a free workshop back in here again that you're all invited to. And the topic is If I Was Brave. And I'm looking forward to hearing about that. I think about that sometimes. What if I wasn't scared at that time? What if I went ahead and did that? So we'll be able to think about that now. So please, please join us for all of these activities. I think you will really enjoy them all. And now we have our announcement angel, Norm Dawson, to share announcements with us. After that, let me just say this and then I'm gone. After that, Reverend Kamatara will be giving a benediction to close our service, and then we'll go right into our Q&A after that.
Good morning. Thank you, Marilyn. I am one that lives life to the fullest. And thank you, Reverend Gill, for your presence today. I loved your message, growth and planting the seeds. Kelly, she's been following me around. I've been following her around for years. Not Kelly, Susan. See, I'm getting Kelly Clark and Susan Clark mixed up here. Susan.
Kelly to me because I was adopted and my first name from my birth mother was Kelly.
Oh. Whoa. Hey. There's something going on here today, folks. Okay, first thing I have in my announcement here is to save the date, but that's today, 8 and 9, 10 April, Reverend Gill. So Marilyn already covered the lunch and the questions and all that. Hey, you know what? It is Hug a Buddy time. Now that's going to be between now and the 15th of April. So be sure that you bring any new or gently used animals to share for the children who are experiencing times of grief or tragedy in their lives here. So this really makes a big difference for those kids. So keep on bringing them. Next week we'll have some more, I'm sure. Okay, the Compassion Ministry always has a little announcement about what they're doing and what they're promoting every week. And this week, since April is Fair Housing Month, there's a organization called the Albuquerque Home Ownership Center. So you've been trying to buy a house, you just don't know what to do, you're not sure what to do, how to do it, or sell a house or whatever. HomeWise is an organization that can actually help you with up to $20,000 in down payment assistance. So if you're looking at something like that, check this out. It's on the newsletter. You get all the details there. They have information on buying and selling a home, improving or refinancing, classes, community development, all that kind of stuff. So check that out. It's in the newsletter. Everything I'm talking about today is in the newsletter or on the website. We stand with Ukraine to end the war and the violence. Think about that this morning. When you got up out of a warm bed, you were able to turn the light on, get the water, grab something to eat, and drive over here in peace. The people in Ukraine, they don't have any of that. So please take a moment, and there's some information in the newsletter about how you can make a difference by contacting some of these organizations on the web. Okay, we've got a new activity happening here. It's the AA meeting every Friday beginning April 22nd. And that starts at 5 p.m. And those are open to everybody, especially, as it says here, newcomers. And they're going to be covering the only requirement to be an AA member is the desire to stop drinking. And they emphasize here, we ask that all who participate confine their discussion to problems with alcohol. Fair enough. So be sure to do that April 22nd at 5 p.m. Name tag roundup. Anybody got a name tag on besides me? I always have these so I can remember who I am. I should turn it upside down so I can look down and go, oh, that's who I am. Maybe it is upside down. No. Anyway, the center's going to create a invitation to have you have your own name tag, and so the more people we have who wanted to buy a name tag, hopefully they'll keep the price around $10. No, not $10. Or less. Okay, or less. Yeah, I've got some helpers out here in the audience. Anyway, if you need information about the name tags, it's back there in the back. Get your name out there so when we come into the center, we can, I'm not going to call you Bill or Sam or Judy, but I know your name. Hey, oh, yeah, because sooner or later you'll be able to get that. Okay, name tag roundup. Okay, great. That's all the message I've got today, and be sure you meet us. Stay right here. Have the questions, and then we'll have lunch back there. I'll see you at the workshop. So that's all today. Live from New Mexico, Sunday morning announcement.
We'll just make that a little shorter, a little short stack here. All right, let's take another deep breath in. To begin and end this beautiful service with a deep breath, just like we begin and end this beautiful life and each day, that the divine is breathing us and we are breathing the divine. And that's all I have to do to drop back in any time throughout this entire week yet to come. Our little reset button. When we feel ourselves in that soil, in that manure, wanting to grab that shovel, deep breath in, and hit that reset and pause, the divine pause. And so I'm grateful for today's service. That was that divine pause. To recalibrate, to reconnect to the truth that we know to be, to remember, say, oh, I know that. And to support each other on that journey. Oh, I know you, sacred being, brother, sister that you are. And so I give thanks for this beautiful time together that replenishes my soul and sets forth my week yet to come on the path of love, expressing of the divine, expressing of being mindful of the sacred journey together. So knowing that we are each divinely guided and blessed, and that beautiful bounty comes out of this amazing work we do when we let the seed and the soil do their thing so I can do my thing. I am so grateful. So taking this prayer, everything that was spoken, and even the things that are unspoken in the recesses of our heart, the divine knows. And so I take all of this and release it into the law, knowing that all of our prayers and dreams are already coming true. And go ahead and say with me, and so it is. And now for our closing song.
Susan, wait, one more thing. If you're at home, I forgot to tell you, give us about 5 minutes if you're at home to get the Zoom link together so that it'll just take us a couple minutes to do that. If you're here, you can listen to Susan or sing with her or whatever Susan says. All right. Thank you. We'll be at our Q&A in about 5 minutes. Thanks.
Thank you, Marilyn, for giving me free reign over the congregation for just a few moments. Let me think about this for a minute. Well, first of all, it's pretty dangerous. Power is dangerous, isn't it? It's a responsibility, too. If you feel like it, I'd like for you to stand. That's the first thing I'll ask you to do. And we're going to do the song I like to do often when I'm here by Eddie Watkins Jr. This is called I Am the Place Where God Shows Up. You are the place where God shows up. We are the place where God shows up. So here we go. Place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. You are the place. You are the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. You are are the place where God shows up. You are the place indeed. You are the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. You are the place where God shows up. Guess what? We are the place together. We are the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. We are the place where God shows up. We are the place. We are the place where God lives, moves and breathes